Hello, my cookies, and welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I have this Cavatelli dish. I absolutely love it. This Cavatelli dough is not a standard dough. It's sort of something I picked up when I worked at a restaurant. We're going to pair it with a really nicely flavored velouté, some roasted root vegetables, and we're going to serve it in a little pumpkin because we're being cutesy, and why not? Now that we know what we're doing, let's gather our ingredients for this Cavatelli dough. You are going to need cream cheese, flour. I'm using AP flour here, making it easy. You're going to need an egg, and you're going to need some milk and a little bit of salt, and that's it. For the roasted root veg, I'll get those ingredients later. So the first thing we're going to do is I want to make this Cavatelli dough. It has to chill and rest for an hour before I can make my Cavatelli. Let's get started. I got myself a new food processor. One egg. Do the one hand crack because you're cool. Now I'm also going to add about 2.5 tablespoons of milk. I know it's an annoying measure. For the cream cheese, I am actually going to weigh it. And the reason I'm weighing it is because I got it in this extremely large tub. I need 8 ounces, half a pound. Let's go ahead and process this up. I want this smooth. And you think it's not going to be enough, but it is. Now you can double this recipe, absolutely. I might maintain 1 egg and just double the other ingredients. Our flour is going to be a little iffy. Depends on the size of the egg. Now it's time for the flour. I'm going to do 2.5 cups of AP flour. You can get fancy if you want with pasta flour and all this stuff. I'm not. I'm making pasta in a food processor. Okay, I think it's one of the best items to make homemade pasta with. There we go. I've added my flour. I just need to pulse it. Comes together in a nice dough ball. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you push the button down, it's not da-da, da-da. It's 1. Do a full second here. All right, let's check this out. I got the nice little pebbles. This is exactly as I remember it. It's kind of sandy. I'm going to scrape up the edges. I always do it in the way the blade turns. If you go against the blade, you can slice off part of this. No one wants that. Get your cling film here. Saran wrap, whatever you want to call it. Careful of the blade. All right, and I'm just going to kind of form this into a ball. Put it in the fridge. And by ball, I meant cylinder. Press it all together. Perfect. Now that we got our Cavatelli made, it's time to turn to the root veg while the Cavatelli dough chills in the fridge. You want to chill it for about an hour. But right now, let's get to our root veg and our velouté. So you are going to need, for your ingredients, chicken stock. You need some flour, some butter. You need some thyme. You're also going to need some root veg. Whatever root veg you like. Rutabaga, turnip, sweet potato. I got some purple potatoes. I got some celery root, and I got some rutabaga. You're going to need an onion, some salt, and you're going to need some cooking oil. I got some evu here. You're also going to need, if you want, completely optional, to be super cutesy and serve it in a little pumpkin. I got some carpenter pumpkin, something like that. These are edible. I might pop them in the oven, not to cook them through because they'll sag and they might not look super awesome anymore. I need them firm to act as a bowl, but I might just cook them a teeny bit just to get them close. All right, let's work on these potatoes. And trim off these ends. I'm just going to peel these. Peelers work both ways, back and forth, back and forth. Let's do this celery root. I peel it with my knife. Take off a lot of the root and the top. Before I forget, I am going to get some water going. See all this? Little crevices of dirt. I don't want to eat dirt. Rutabaga. I'm just going to trim off this root part. I don't have any dirt in there. Let's cut this up. I'm just going to cut up cubes, maybe 1/2-inch cubes here. All right, celery root. Let's do these potatoes. No Michelin stars today, just good food. 1/2-inch. Now, let me not forget to salt this water. I'm going to start roasting these up. I have a 12-inch nonstick skillet. Regular skillet works fine. The idea is some roasty toastiness on the outside and have them be cooked. We are doing this in pieces like you would a restaurant. It's going to take a little bit of extra time. That's okay. I think it's going to be worth it. I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of oil in here. I'm just going to heat it up high heat. While that's heating up, let's get my onion for the velouté. So my velouté sauce is going to have a little bit of onion in it. So I'm chopping half an onion fine. This is probably a small onion. All right, my oil's hot. It's loose like water. I'm gonna add hopefully half my veg. Season up with salt, toss it around. Medium heat. Again, you want it roasty, toasty, cooked on the inside, not burnt on the outside. All right, now it's time. I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of butter. Melt that over medium-high heat. I'm gonna add my onion, saute it. I just want to give a little bit more background flavor. I didn't make this chicken stock at home, so it's not as flavorful as if I had. It's gonna be delicious anyway. Still stirring and turning our potato and rutabaga here and celery root. We want some browning, so we're only gonna stir it every couple minutes or so. So I'm just gonna be pretty generous with the top here. Now I'm gonna scoop out the inside. So I'm scooping this out. I'm just gonna get all the seeds, all the stringy stuff out. All right, butter's melted. Let's add our onion here. Increase heat to high and a little bit of salt. All right, I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil in here. Just gonna rub it along the inside. And season it with salt if you want. I think we're good. This is gonna be decorative on top, so I'm not even gonna cook it. I'm gonna pop it in my 450-degree oven, maybe 5 minutes, probably less. Look at this. Got some good browning on it. It's not gonna be perfect browning all over. Get it into a bowl. You wanna make sure that they're tender first. I know they're tender because I was using my spoon on them. A couple tablespoons of olive oil. Do it again with more. Don't forget, season with a little salt. I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm gonna add the flour. I'm gonna cook it about a minute, maybe longer. We're essentially making a roux. And yes, I understand you normally don't use onion here, but I am. Just deal with it. I don't want to brown it, but I want to cook it. Now I'm going to start with about a cup of chicken stock. I'm going to end up putting about 2 in. I want the right consistency here. All right, it's going to thicken up. Let's go ahead and just put the 2nd cup in, and then I'm just going to cook it until it's the right consistency. Throw in your thyme here. This will really add a whole bunch of flavor. Don't skip this step. Scraping up any brown stuff on the bottom, bring it up to a simmer, and just let it heat through. Cook down a little bit. I want a little bit more browning here. Let's check on this pumpkin. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. I'm gonna give it about 3 more. I think we'll be good. It's still very firm. The oil is starting to kind of like heat up. It's starting to kind of cook. And I just want to do it just a teeny bit, just like a little par cook. My pumpkin is done. It's looking good. You can see it's steamy, but it's still holding its shape. This is gonna be a nice little bowl. There we go, getting some browning. All right, you can test if they're done by just pressing down, and if they squish, they're done. They're not done yet. A couple more minutes. All right, we're looking good. We got some good browning there. Starting to get a little dark. Let's get it off. Let's get this cavatelli going. Flouring up my board. I'm gonna take some of this, not all of it. Leave the rest of it wrapped. I know I just rested it. I am gonna need it once or twice. Just make sure it's the right consistency. Now I need to make a very long 1.5-inch strip. Pretty thin too. Ah, it's springing back on me. No bueno. Make sure it's not sticking. It's sort of sticking a little bit. Make sure it's floured. Not too much flour. That'll make it spring back even worse. Still might be a little wide. This is kind of getting stuck together. Maybe I should just try a thinner strip. It's working! I know, it sounds like a machine gun too. This is better. I just need it to be a little thinner. Let's do it again. Let's cut these into thinner strips. About 1.5 inches. That's what I'm doing. Let's just run it through again. This is not a weeknight friendly dinner. I don't know why I did this. No regrets. Thank you, Cavatelli maker, for your service. So next up, we have got to blanch these. Just gonna cook it, par cook it, 3 minutes. Here we go. Get your spider ready. Salted water. Let's go ahead and pull out those thyme sprigs. Get them in the water, stir them around. It's gonna kind of be like ravioli. Very gentle. I'm doing this so they separate. This guy's already floating. They will start to float when they're cooked. It's gonna be very quick. Fresh pasta. Look at them float. I'm not gonna strain out the water. I'm just gonna scoop them out with my spider. So you can put these in the fridge. They'll last. Heat them up with a little bit of sauce. If you make extra dough, you can freeze the dough. Now it's time to assemble this dish. In my pan, I'm just gonna heat up a whole bunch of root veggies in here. Low heat. Add a bunch of my sauce here. Should definitely have made more sauce. And I'm gonna add some pasta. We need some green in there. I'm just gonna add a little bit of peppery arugula here. All right, off heat. Beautiful. Look at this. Saucy, delicious. That's phenomenal. The star of this show are the roasted veggies. And then you get the creamy pasta and the light velouté. It comes in with a little bit of chickeniness, a little bit of richness, a little bit of that thyme comes through. You get the peppery arugula. I love the texture of the cavatelli. It's got a little bit of chew to it, but it's like a creamy chew. That's what that cream cheese did. You can make this vegetarian very easily just by using vegetable stock. I've missed this. I haven't had this cavatelli in a long time. So that was roasted root vegetables with cavatelli and a velouté, served in a pumpkin. Completely optional, but a lot of fun. If you like what you saw, don't forget to follow me on Twitch. I'm also on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.